Hi, Shreyas.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you, sir?
Great. Is everything clear from your side?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 100%. So I was just doing a setup so that the lighting is clear and again the audio is clear, and most importantly, to record this lesson. So obviously, you've seen the links that I've sent you for our previous lessons, isn't it? Were you able to check them out?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 100%. So, before we start with factorization, uh, I just wanted us to quickly go through that last. I think it was the first or the last question of your homework. You remember that one where I wanted you to prove it if it's wrong or correct?
Yes, sir.
I just forgot what was that equation. Do you still have it? Yeah, what was
Yes,
that
sir.
equation? Do you still have it?
So, all three or just one of them?
No. For now, okay, three of them. Let's say three of them.
The first one was 19 minus P equals to
19 minus,
P
oh yes,
equals
it's equals
to
to
14
14, yeah. And the other one,
was 16 plus X
16,
plus X
16 plus x,
equals to negative 16
it's equals to negative 16, yeah. And then the last one,
was negative Y plus 3
ne- negative y plus 3
equals to 97.
is equals to 97. Okay, so I'm just going to be quick on these three equations. I was very much happy that you managed to do two of those correctly. I was just concerned with just one problem. So remember, Shriyat, obviously, you know very well that this is an equation because of that equal sign, which means we solve for the unknown, of which in this case is represented by letter P. So what does it mean? In short, it means we want to have the letter or the letters on the left, it's equals to numbers on the right. So this is generally how we present our final answer when solving for equations. So obviously, we've got 19 minus p. This is equals to 14. So according to this, it means I need to try by all means to have all the numbers on the right side of the equal sign and have the letters on the left side of the equal sign, which means I'm going to transpose that 19. So whatever that remains, you write it as it is. Whatever that was there, you write as it is. Then you transpose 19, it changes a sign, it's negative 19. Then I've got negative p, this is equals to, let me quickly get my calculator. I'm sure with your head you are able to just give an answer. It should be, I think it's negative 5. So now I've got an issue because I don't have P, but instead I've got negative P, which means I need to remove that negative over there. That's why I'm going to divide by negative 1. Why negative 1? Because there's that 1 there which is not necessary to write. So it cancels, it cancels. Remember, what you do on the left, you also do on the right. So you remain with P, it's equals to, those negatives cancels, that it's equals to 5. So Shreyas, every time when I give you this type of problems, so after giving the final answer, prove if that answer is correct by substituting it in the brackets. Before you write that 14, punch it on a calculator to say 19 minus into 5, it's equals to. Then whatever answer that you get, you can write it down, which means you need to punch all of these and check if it gives you that answer. If it doesn't give you that answer, then that's when you need to redo it. So, Shreyas, have you got any questions so far?
No, sir.
Everything is 100% there.
Yes, sir.
So let's quickly do that one. So let's see, we've got 16 plus x. This is equals to negative 6e. So obviously we want to remain with x on the left side of the equal sign. So we've got x, which is equals to, then on this side we've got negative 16. Then you can transpose. Obviously, when you transpose, it changes the sign to its opposite sign. So obviously, because it's positive over there, it's going to be negative 16. So can you see my unknown, it's positive. So I know I don't have any stress. Obviously, I just punch all of these, then it's negative 32. This is the final answer, Shreya. So when you are in exam, this is where you end. But for me and you, you need to show me that your answer is correct. Then, Shreyas, you punch all of this on a calculator and check what answer you get. So this is 16 plus into negative 13 close. This is negative 16. Therefore, it means this is correct. So, Shreyas, it
Yes,
makes
sir.
perfect sense, this one, because obviously I know you nailed it, this one. So no questions for this one, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
100%. So now let's get to that one, which is where I wanted you to prove that one. So in this case, we've got negative y plus 13, that's equals to 97. Remember, Shreyas, so you just want to remain with the letters on the left side of that equal sign. So you've got negative y over there, which is equals to 97. So you transpose that number. So obviously it changes a sign to negative 3. Can you see? Therefore, you've got minus y, which is equals to, then you just punch all of this on a calculator. I think it's a 94.
94.
So yeah, so can you see now you've got a problem of that minus over there, which means you need to remove that minus. Therefore, you divide by negative 1. Whatever you do on the left, you do on the right. So that cancels that. Therefore, you remain with y, which is equals to negative 94. Then this is the end of that problem, Shreyas. So now, for me and you need to prove. So you've got that negative from the original equation into, you're going to substitute your answer. Then you say plus 3, you punch all of this on a calculator, Shreya. So it's negative, my calculator. Shreyas, what did you do to my calculator? See now, okay, so it's negative into negative 94 close plus 3, it's equals to 90, yeah, okay, 97. So yeah, so can you see, Shreyas, do you notice if you've made a mistake or if you've done it incorrectly?
No, sir. It's all correct on my side.
So you fully understand we're on the same page on this one, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 100%. So remember, after each and every lesson, I'm going to give you this type of problems, just 3 of them, until I'm confident that you are 100%. From there, we advance these questions. But then I'm going to teach you before I give you a different type of a problem. So you say, for today's lesson, I noticed you tried to do that factorization. It seems like you've got a light, Trias. It's either you've done them before or you have an understanding. Then we just need to brush there and there. Can you just indicate to me, Shreyas, at what stage are you? Shreyas, there's a
Yes, sir.
background, there's a sound in the background. Is it do you have the other phone which is on Telegram? Is it close to the phone that you're using?
No, sir. Not with me at the moment.
Oh, because here there's a background noise. I'm not sure if maybe
No, sir. My dad was just going to work, so he was closing the gate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it makes sense. All right. So,
Sorry for that.
I was asking, do you have a bit of light with regards to factorization? Because I wanted to first test your level understanding, and then from there, prepare a lesson which is specialized, which is suitable to the level of your understanding. So. Have you done those factorizations before? I just noticed from that question paper that you did.
Yes, sir. But I did it, sir. But the but just the way the method we do it.
Oh, so there's a certain method that they taught you in class, ne?
Yes, sir.
So that's the method that you apply to solve those questions. So does it makes sense most, because I've noticed it seemed like you understood what you were doing there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, no, it's fine. Let's just do a few of these examples. Then from there, based on your response, I should be able to notice how I should prepare for that lesson. So this won't be our last lesson on factorization. It's just to run a test in terms of checking your level understanding. And then from there, we will do all types of factorizations until you're satisfied on your side, and again until I'm satisfied on my side. From there, we can be able to move to the next type of problems. So, Shreyas, if you are
Yes, sir.
given something similar to this, let's say it's x squared minus x minus 3, and they want you to factorize.
So
Let's
minus
say this
3
is
or
no,
minus
no,
6.
minus 6, minus 600%. So let's say you are given something similar to that. Would you be able to factorize this one?
Yes, sir.
So maybe you can just give it a try by explaining how you would solve for or factorize that one.
So I would take in brackets, I would take my x minus my second negative x and close my bracket.
Okay, there is x. Then what do I write?
Minus x.
So you say minus x like that.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Then in the second brackets, I'll put another x
Another
minus 6.
x.
Yes, sir.
Okay, another x minus
6.
6. Okay.
Then so our
Oh,
sir,
this is. So you
sir.
you you'll just let me know when it's done. So I wanted you to just factorize that one. You'll let me know when it's done.
Yes, sir.
So, Shreyas, this is
Yes, sir.
so you are done in this way.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Again, let's say maybe you are given x squared minus 4x plus 3, this is equals to 0. And let's say you are given that and they say factorize that. So guide me, Shreyas. Give it a try.
Okay, so put my x, I'll put in brackets my x.
In brackets, x, yeah.
Minus 4.
What is it, plus 4?
Minus 4.
Oh, minus 4.
And then in the second brackets, I'll put my 3 plus x.
Wait, what do I write there?
Positive 3 plus x.
Or positive 3 plus x, it's equals to 0. Like
Yes.
this, ne?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me see the last one, Shreyas. The last one, let's say you're given x squared plus 3x plus 2. This is equals to 0. Give it a try, Shreyas.
Yes, sir.
So obviously, you'll have those brackets. Then you can tell me what to write inside.
So I'll have x plus 3.
X plus 3.
And then in the second bracket, I have x plus 2.
X plus 2.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I understand. So, Shreyas, what's the method that you are using in order to factorize?
So the one they gave us in school.
Mm-hmm.
So we got 2 methods.
Yeah.
So I'll just find it, sir. So the first answer we do FOIL.
Mm-hmm.
First, outer, inner, last.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is we draw 2 lines where we put it as f times f, which is factors, last times last, and as factors, and then the middle term is outer times outer and inner times inner.
Okay. So let me bring this board, and then from there, I just want to make sure that we try possible methods until you understand, until you have a background of what factorization is all about. So the first equation was x squared minus x minus 6. This is equals to 0. Okay, so Shreyas, there are multiple ways in which you can factorize this type of quadratic equations. And again, normally in grade 11 and again in grade 12. So you normally use this type of factorization. I've noticed there's that type where you've got a 3 over there, or you've got 4, whatever. So that one, it normally ends in grade 10. Then in grade 11 and 12, you'll be dealing more with this type of factorization, of which I want to emphasize it and invest much of my time into this type of factorization, because when we get to functions or the graphs, that's where you will need to have a better understanding of this type of equations. So, Shreyas, if you are given an equation similar to this one, this is what we call a quadratic equation. I'm not sure if you are aware of that, Shreyas?
I'm aware of it.
Shreyas, I was saying
Yes, sir.
this type of an equation it's what we call quadra. There's the quadra equation. So I was asking if you are aware of that, to say this is what we call a quadratic equation. So
Yes, sir.
Shreyas, is
Yes,
there
sir.
is there disconnection? Did you hear everything said?
So I only heard the part where you said this is a quadratic equation. Hello, sir.
I was saying, oh, okay, no. I was saying, let me put in such a way that I'm explaining. So I'm not sure. Can you now hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 100%. So I'm going to then explain. So this is what we call a quadratic equation. How do you know a quadratic equation? It is that type of an equation that has letter which is being squared. So that letter, it could be a squared, it could be b squared, c squared, any letter up to z squared. So the moment you notice that on a given equation, then you know it's a quadratic equation. So the quadratic equation needs to be written in the standard form. So there's a general equation for representing a quadratic equation, which is ax squared plus b. Let me just remove all of that. Plus bx plus c is equals to 0. So this is a general form of writing or representing a quadratic equation. I need you to notice something, Shreyas. You need to have a positive a when you need to write your quadratic equation in standard form. It has to be equated to 0. So, Shreyas, based on this information that I've explained to you, I'm going to bring three equations so that it's because of that x squared. It's because of that letter squared. That is the first reason why I'm saying that is a quadratic equation. And again, the question that you should ask yourself, is it in the standard form? And answer to that question, 3 years, will be based on this. Is it in that order of x squared, x, then a constant? And answer to that question, and again, is equated to 0. And answer to that question is a yes. Therefore, this or that given problem is in the standard form. Once it's in the standard form, that's when you can factorize, which is what I need to teach. So let me to them to explain. So Trias, that given problem, what is it? This is a quadratic equation. Why am I saying it's a quadratic equation? It's a quadratic because I see letter squared. For the fact that I see letter squared, it's a quadratic. For the fact that I see equal sign is therefore a quadratic equation. Remember, what makes a problem to be equation is because of that equal sign. What makes it to be a quadratic is because of that squared. Is it in the standard form? Yes. Why am I saying it's in the standard form? It's because it's in that order of letter squared, letter, then a constant. It doesn't matter whether it's positive 4 or it's negative 4 or it's negative whatever number. It doesn't matter there if we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, whatever number. It doesn't matter there if it's negative 10, negative 1,000, positive 30, or whatever number. I'm just interested in that order of starting with this term, which has got a letter squared, and the middle term being a term with a letter, and that third term being a number. And most importantly, it has to be equated to 0. Then I know it's in the standard form. 3,
Yes, sir.
yes. The third one. So is this a quadratic equation? Yes. Why? Because I see letter squared. Is it in the standard form? Was is in order a letter a constant? And most importantly, it's equated to 0. Therefore, if it's in the standard form, it means we can now factorize, which is what I need to teach you, Shreyas. So, Shreyas, did you
Yes,
understand
sir.
all that part that I've explained, or would you like me to emphasize something?
No, sir. I understand it. Hello, sir.
So, thing is for you understood, because for now, just to just wanted you to be aware of that information, and then from there I'm going to teach you how to apply it. So you say now you understand it.
Yes, sir.
100%. So let me just say quadratic equation, and then it has to be in that order: ax squared plus bx plus c is equals to 0. Then it must have a positive a, and again must be equated to 0. Therefore, you can factorize. Okay, so let me just leave it there. So, Shreyas,
Yes, sir.
let me see. Is this a yes, Shreyas, you've got a question?
No, 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 sir. Can
Okay, so is this a quadratic equation? An answer to that question is a yes. Why am I saying it's a quadratic equation? It's because I see letter squared. So if it's a quadratic equation, the next question that you should ask yourself, is it in the standard form? Let's check. A I've got that, I've got that, I've got that, and it's equated to 0. So yes, it is in the standard form. Why? It's because it's in that order of letter squared, letter, a constant, and most importantly, it's equated to 0. If it's in the standard form, what's next? that's when you can factorize. And remember, for it to be in the standard form, Shreyas, you have to have positive a, and again it has to be equated to 0. So in that given problem, I'm going to ask you, what is the value of a, what is the value of b, what is the value of c? So I'm going to answer this question, Shreyas. Remember, we are saying for it to be in the standard form, it has to be in that order of ax squared plus bx plus c, and it has to be equated to 0. So in that given problem, the value of a is 1, because we know there's that 1 over there which is not necessary to write. What is the value of b? The value of b is -1. So remember, there's a 1 there which is not necessary to write. What is the value of c? It's -6. So that is the reason why we say it has to be in that order for us to be able to say it's in the standard form. But when you factorize, especially when you are in grade 10, you don't need to write all of that information. I wanted you to understand where that A, B, and C comes from that given problem. So, Shreyas, what I'm going to
Yes,
do
sir.
now is to factorize that, because already we said it's in the standard form. But before I factorize Shreyas, don't you want to give it a try in terms of explaining if this is a quadratic equation and why, and again if it's in the standard form?
Okay, so I'll give it a try.
Okay, give it a try.
This is a quadratic equation
Mm-hmm.
and it's in a standard it's a standard equation, as we can
Standard
see,
form.
because of the x squared and because of the letter squared
Mm-hmm.
and the and the negative x and the -6, which all must be equal to 0, with
Mm-hmm.
6 is the constant. uh, so I think that's about it.
Yes. So I'm just going to repeat what you said in the order that we'll be using going forward on our lesson. So from a question would be, is what type of a problem is that? So you would say this is a quadratic equation. Why? Is because there's a letter squared, which makes it a quadratic equation. Then, is it in the standard form? Yes. Why? Because it's in that order of x squared, letter, and a constant. And most importantly, it's equated to 0. And again, we've got positive a value over there. So once all that is satisfied, triad, it means we can now factorize. So obviously, when you factorize, you can start opening those brackets and equate it to a 0. So there's something interesting and a bit tricky, Shreyas, when it comes to factorizing. So can you see that x squared, Shreyas? It means you must write x there and x there. So you write those x on both sides, or on both monomials, or in each brackets. I'm not sure if you understand this part, Shreyas. I just
So
wanted
I
you to be
understand it.
aware that yes, that x squared, it means you write the first x there and the second x there. Nay.
Yes, sir.
So your next focus, uh, remember, Shreyas, what is your middle term?
-x.
Negative x. But in terms of numbers, what is your middle term?
-1.
Yes, I should have said what is your what is your B value? I should have said what is your B value. So your B value is -1. What is your A value?
+1 squared.
Wait. So your positive A value is just +1. So +1 x squared, the whole of it is a term. Ne?
Yes, sir.
100%. Then so every time when you hear the word value, Shreyas, it refers to a number. So for example, what is your B value, Shreyas? What is your B value?
-1.
It's -1. Then what is your A value?
+1.
What is your C value?
-6.
100%. So we've got our A value being +1. We've got our B value being -1. We've got our C value being -6. So 3 years after you've written those two, you now focus on your C value name. You focus on your C value and say, what two numbers, when you multiply them together, they can give you 6 Shreyas?
So it'll be -3 and +3.
-3 and +3. Wait, when you say 3 times 3, will it give you 6?
No,
But
sir,
remember here.
so I made a mistake. It's supposed to be -3 and +2.
Okay. Let me do this, Shreyas. Let me do this. We said our A value is equals to +1. Our B value is equals to -1. Our C value is equals to -6. So, Shreyas, for
Yes, sir.
now, we are not concerned about the signs, ne? So I'll give you an example. Let me just do this one by myself so that you have an idea of what I'll be expecting from you. So obviously we are given that quadratic equation, what is in the standard form and everything. Now we start to factorize. So when you factorize, you open the brackets, it's equals to 0. Then that x squared, it means write x over there. Then what two numbers when multiplied together will give you 6? 1 multiplied by 6, this will be 6. But now, can 1 and 6 give you the middle term, which is 1? Can you work out 1 and 6 to give you 1? No. Remember, Shreyas, we don't focus on that negative sign for now. Ne? We don't focus on that negative sign for now. So you can see 1 times 6 is equals to 6, yes. But can you say 1 either plus or -6 and it gives you 1? An answer to that question, it's a no, Shreyas. Then you need to find another number that you can say, when you say that number multiplied by the next number will give you 6. So what other numbers can you think of, Shreyas, when multiplied together will give you 6?
2 times 3.
100%. 2 times 3. When you say 2 times 3, they will give you 6. Ne? So when
Yes,
you
sir.
say 2 and 3, can you work them together such that they will give you 1?
No.
Remember, remember, Shreyas, it doesn't matter whether you say, can you say 3 and work it out with 2 until it gives you a 1. So remember, can you not say 3 minus 2 and it gives you 1?
So you can.
You can, nay.
Yes, sir.
So that means these are the factors for that problem. Then, Shreyas, you write them inside the brackets. So that means the first thing that we needed to do was to find the factors, Shreyas. After we got the factors, then we work out those signs. I'm not sure if you are following so far, Shreyas. I'm going to remove
sir,
all
I'm
of this and
following.
explain again.
No, sir, I'm following.
100%. So now, let's come up with the signs for those factors. So, Shreyas, the bigger number takes the sign of the middle term. Between 3 and 2, which one is a bigger number?
3.
It's 3. What is the sign of a middle term?
Minus.
Which means that number takes the sign of the middle term.
Yes, sir.
So Shreyas, our C value, is it positive or negative?
Negative.
So if our C value is negative, then we have to put a positive sign over there. If
Yes, sir.
it was positive, you will find that we were going to then put a negative there so that when you multiply that by that, it takes you back to a positive number. But otherwise, let me not confuse you that much for now. I just wanted you, Shreyas, to be able to find the factors. So, Shreyas, when you factorize, only if you can do this, only if you can find the factors, then you are done. So I'm going to redo all of this again until you say you understand. From there, I'm going to do those 2 problems again. As soon as we are done with those problems, then I'm going to test you a bit. So
So you
I'm
can
going
do
to
the
remove.
next 2 problems.
Oh, so with this one you understand, eh?
Yes, I understand it now.
100%. So now, let me do that next one. So this is x squared minus 4x plus 3 is equals to 0. So, Shreyas, is this a no? I'll be asking myself, what is this? So I'm going to say this is a quadratic equation. Why? Because I see letter squared. And again, is it in the standard form? Yes. Why? Because I've got a positive a value, and again, the whole of this is equated to 0. For that reason, it's in the standard form. And again, because it's in that order of x squared, x, and a constant, then it is in the standard form. What does it mean if it's in the standard form? It means I can factorize. Then this is when I open those brackets and say it's equals to 0. So now, Shreyas, that letter squared, it means you can write a x in each bracket. So this is that time where we need to find the factors. So we concentrate on that C value being guided by the B value. So what 2 numbers when multiplied together will give you a 3? Obviously, it's 1 multiplied by 3 which will give you 3. Remember, Shreyas, we are not concerned about that sign. We are not concerned about the positive or the negative sign. We just need to know what two numbers, when multiplied together, will give you that C value, which is 1 times 3 is going to give you 3. Then, can you work out these two numbers to give you 4? Shreyas,
Yes,
an
sir.
answer to that question, it's a big yes, which means you can either say 1 and 3, you can use a sign for them to give you 4. You can either use positive or negative, but in this case, you are going to add them to give you 4. Remember, reason why I'm not writing a sign there is because we are not interested in the sign. So, since you said yes, Shreyas, that means these are our vectors. Therefore, we've got 3 and 1 Shreyas. So now, between these two numbers, the bigger number takes the sign of the middle term. Shreyas, which one is the bigger number? 3 is the bigger number. What is the sign of the middle term? The middle term is a negative, which means we are going to have -3 over there. Shreyas, what about that one over there? Is it a positive or is it a negative? Because our C value is positive, then we write a minus over there. I'm not sure if you understand this part.
No, sir, I understand it.
100%, ne?
So, sir, since if the constant number is a positive, the sign in the brackets, in the last bracket, changes to a negative.
So it becomes a negative sign, but I want you to notice why it becomes a negative sign. The reason to that is because you must say -3. Obviously, we know where that -3 comes from, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So the question is it a positive or -1? So whatever sign it is, it has to give you that middle term, which is -4, Shreyas. So choose between these two. If you choose, you are going to say -3. You can test with +1 and see if it gives you -4. Test again with -3, -1, and check what answer you get. So whichever gives you -4, then you take that sign and that sign, or otherwise that and that. I'm not sure if you understand, Shreyas.
No, sir, I understand now.
Are you happy with that one? That
Yes, sir.
explanation?
Yes, sir.
So which sign is it?
That's -3 minus 1
So
gives you
it's
-4.
100%. That's what I wanted to ask you. 100%. If you understand that, then I'm very much happy, Shreyas, we are very close to where I need you to be. So let's do that one. So we've got x squared plus 3x plus 2. This is equated to 0. This is a quadratic equation because of that letter squared. It's equation because of that is equals to. And again, it seems to be in the standard form. Why? Because I see a positive value, which is +1, and it's in that order of letter squared, letter, then a constant, and most importantly, it's equated to 0. Then, if it's in the standard form, it means I can factorize Shreyas. So let's see. What two values can you multiply together and they give you 2? The first values is 1 times 2. They will give you 2. So can you work out 1 and 2 such that they give you that 3? Can you say 1
plus
and 2 and it gives you 3.
Yes, sir.
Then an answer to that question is a yes. But remember, firstly, we know we've got x there. So if you say yes, then we have 1 and 2. It doesn't matter whether you write 2 there, 1 there. Whichever way, for now, it's fine. So, Shreyas, now we say the bigger number takes the sign of the middle term, name. So
Yes, sir.
the bigger number is 2. What is the sign of the middle term? It's a plus. So let's write a plus over there. So now, in terms of the sign for that one, you are going to say, now that already you know is positive 2, what sign can you use? Is it a plus or is it a minus 1, which will give you 3? Which sign is it?
Positive. It's a plus.
So that means you've got positive 2, and again you've got positive 1. They will give you the middle term, which is positive 3. Therefore, it means also 1. It's a positive sign. Shreyas, are you happy with this explanation?
Yes, sir. So, sir, if I wrote the 2, if I swap the 1 and the 2 around, is it still fine?
You mean if maybe they did it this way, 2 there, 1 there?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So you still say the bigger number takes the sign of the middle term. The bigger number is 2, then it's a plus. Then you do the same. Plus 2, is it plus or minus 1, which will give me 3? So you said it's plus 2 plus 1, which will give you plus 3. Therefore, 1 is also a plus.
Yes, sir.
So, Shreyas, I want you to notice something. 3 times 7, is this the same as 7 times 3?
Yes, sir.
So can you see, Shreyas, it doesn't matter whether you write this first followed by that one, or you write this first followed by that one. It's for that reason that 3 times 7 is still the same as 7 times 3. So you just swap, but you're still multiplying the same thing. Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
100%. So, Shreyas, can I give you one problem that you can give it a try?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, let me think of something. But before I do that, Shreyas, are you able to prove if your factorization is correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's say we had x squared minus x minus that is equals to 0. Then obviously, when we factorize, we've got x, we know 3, and 2, they give you a 6. Then the bigger number takes the sign of the middle term. Obviously, there's going to be a plus. So how would you prove if those factors are correct?
So I would take the first x and the second x and times it together, which would give me x squared.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would say minus 1 because of the 3 minus the 2, which gives me x.
So you're saying minus what?
3 minus 2, which will give me 1, which is x,
Okay,
the
so
middle
this is
term.
what I'm writing there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all
Then
right.
the 2 times 3 will give me 6.
Mm-hmm.
Negative
So it gives
6.
us a minus 6. Okay, so going forward, Shreyas, when we do it for me and you, we don't take shortcuts. So we do it, we follow all the steps. So you're going to say x times x, which must give you that. Then you say that times that, it must give you minus 3. Then you say that times that, it gives you positive x. Then you say that times that, it gives you minus 6. Then you work out the like terms. So that remains. Then when you work out that, it gives you minus 1x negative 6. Can you see, Shreya? So this is how you prove it if it's correct. Because if you take a shortcut, you will just say that times that, it gives you that. Then you just make a shortcut to say those two, when you do them, it gives you that. Then you write it. Then you say that times that gives you this. But you are not showing mathematically that it gives you that answer. I'm not sure if you understand, Shreyas, because this was easy. There's some complicated stuff where you need to follow this process in order to confirm if your factorization is correct. So for me and you, when we prove, we'll follow this process, is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 100% Shreyas. So let me see. Let me see where did it. Okay, so let's see. What did I want to do, Shreyas? I think I wanted to give you a problem that you need to try, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to think of something. Let me quickly try. See, let's say I want your answer to be that, or let's say 8. Okay, x, then it means in brackets of x, then plus 5 into x minus 8, that times that, x squared. Let me see here. So I want to give you something that you will, well, that is negative, that times that is minus 8, minus 8, then that times that plus 5, it's minus 3x, 8 times that is equals to positive 40 is equals 3 years. There, it's your problem. X squared minus 3x plus 40, that's equals to 0. 3 years. Work out this one, but remember, start from where you explain and everything, and then from there get to that stage where you say now we are factorizing. Then you will let me know what to write. Go for it, Shreyas.
So this is a quadratic equation because of the x, because of the letter squared, minus the letter, minus your b value, plus your constant. So I'm ready to solve. So our two brackets.
Okay, let me write it down. But Shreyas, are you sure you have explained everything? I'm not yet convinced, Shreyas. Can you give it a try for the last time?
So this is a quadratic equation because of the letter x, that letter square, minus your letter plus your constant value. And this is a standard equation because the letter is squared.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
So maybe let me also do it. Then from there, you will let me know if we've included everything. So this is a quadratic equation because it's a quadratic because of letter squared. It's an equation because of that equal sign. So it's in the standard form because we've got positive a value, and the whole of this is equated to 0. And again, it's in that standard form of letter squared, letter, a constant, it's equals to 0. So, Shreyas, did we both include everything?
So I think you included more than what I said.
So which one did you miss?
So I missed the so I forgot to say that this is an equation because of the equal sign, and it's a letter minus a letter plus a constant value.
Constant value, ne?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you'll remember that part next time. So that means for each and every problem that we'll be dealing with, you'll firstly mention it until you're confident, just like with the previous type of a problem where you say it's an equation, we solve the unknown, you remember. So now,
Yes, sir.
let's factorize. Guide me, Shreyas. What's the first step?
We have to take our x squared, put an x in the first bracket and an x in the second bracket. Then, sir, we have to find our constant. Two values that equal our constant value, which is 40. So, sir, we could take 4 times 10 or 2 times 20, or we could take 1 times 40, and we could take 9 times 5.
What is it? 9 times 5?
Yes, sir.
No,
Sir, 8 times 5. 8 times 5, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Sir, and I'm not sure which other ones.
Okay, so let's test it. Ne? So when you test, you say, can you say 4 plus or minus 10, and they give you that 3?
No, sir. It gives you. It gives me a 6.
So that means it fails. Ne?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's test that one. Can you say 2? It's either you add or you minus 20, and it gives you negative 3.
No, sir.
Then it
yes,
fails.
sir, you can, because of the minus sign in front of the 3x.
Wait. So you're saying 2 and 20. Can we work them out such that they give us negative 3?
No, sir, it's wrong. It's a fail.
It won't work, ne?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there, can we say maybe 1 add or subtract 40 such that it will give us negative 3?
No, sir.
So it fails.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now can we say 8, either add or minus 5, and it gives us negative 3?
Yes, sir.
100%, which means these are the factors. So it's either you write 8 there or 5 there, it doesn't really matter. So I can just decide to say 8 and 5. You see?
Yes.
Then what's next?
So we have to see which is the biggest value that takes the middle term's symbol.
Sign, ne?
Sign, yes, sir.
Like
which
that.
is 8. So it will take minus.
Then what's next, Shreyas?
So then we have to take, instead of putting a minus at the 5,
Shreyas, I'm not sure if it's the network on your side. Can you still be able to hear me?
hello, sir?
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so so what's next? Because you got that part correctly, it's fine, but now we need to get that one over there, the sign of that other term.
positive sign, sir.
So you say it's a positive sign.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain how do you arrive at that positive sign?
So, so you can say that because you're changing the sign of the 3.
So this is how you do it, Trias. You're going to say a -8. Then you say it's either when you plus or you minus that 5, it must give you -3. Then you test with a plus and then you test with a minus. Whichever that gives you -3, then you use that sign.
No, sir, it's plus.
It's plus. So that means when you say -8 plus 5, it gives you -3, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that means it's a plus 5 over there. So in this way, Trias, then you know
Yes, sir.
you've done everything correctly. So can you see how simple it is? It just needs a bit of practice. Can you see?
Yes, sir.
Then what's next, Shreyas? Do I give you some more problems to solve, or how do we proceed as we conclude with today's lesson?
So you can give me homework, sir.
Sorry, say again, Shreyas.
So you can give me something to do for homework.
Okay, so let me see how many problems can I give you? Is it 2, 3, or 4?
4, sir.
Okay, so while I derive those equations, Shreyas, I would like you to look at your first attempt and just laugh at yourself, Shreyas, because you can see what you've done over there, especially that first one, Shreyas. It's very funny, that one, and I didn't have the energy to laugh because I don't know, Shreyas, but I think you can just laugh at yourself because you can see it doesn't make sense, Shreyas, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Also that one over there, but I'm glad you gave it a try because you are now able to compare how you are thinking now versus when you given them a try. So can you say with this method, Shreyas, will it not confuse you when you compare it with how they taught you in class?
No, sir.
It's better, and it also makes sense, isn't it? Okay, so oh no, then it's fine, Shreyas. You know what I will do? I will write down those problems offline. Then I'll send you via inbox. Then whenever you get a chance, you'll just work on them, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 100%. So Shreyas, let's for now let's work on factorizing until you are 100%. Then from there we can move maybe to the next chapter, especially those that you did when you tried to give that question paper a try, so that I don't confuse you with more information, because factorization is one of the key things in maths, because in almost everything you'll be factorizing. So it's therefore very, very much important that you are able to factorize. When you get to grade 11, I will show you the very simplest way of factorizing any type of a quadratic equation. I won't teach you now because you are not using that method in grade 10. But even if you find factorizing a bit difficult or challenging in grade 10, when you get to grade 11, you will wish you knew how to do it, even though I cannot teach you that method because it's not being done in grade 10. But for now, try to emphasize this way of factorizing. So Shreyas, this should bring us to the end of our lesson for today. I'm not sure if you've got any questions before we close this lesson.
No, sir. It's fine. Thank you, sir, so much.
So 100% everything clear, ne?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I see someone has joined. Promise, can you unmute your mic there?
Yes, sir.
So you're in grade 12, Mus?
11.
Oh, grade 11. But did you understand what I was explaining so far?
Yes, I did.
Okay. No, that's 100%. Wait, did you attend my yesterday's lesson? You were there, ne?
Yes.
Okay, no, 100%. Shreyas, thanks very much for joining today's lesson. We'll see, based on the homework that I'll give you, then we'll see how you work it out. From there, I'll plan for our next lesson. So promise I'll prepare for that lesson where you said I should prepare for it so that you guys are 100% before we move to the next level. So guys, thanks very much for joining. I'll see you on our next lesson.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, cheers.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Let me end.
Bye.